We will remember them.
We will remember them.
I'd like to call upon our minister now, please. Representing Elizabeth May, Bob Collins will lay one for Elizabeth May. Representing First Nations, Miss Dolly Desjardins. Mr. Desjardins' husband served in Korea and just passed away recently. Representing the Merchant Navy, Mr. Lloyd Durkers. Representing Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, Mr. Harold Drinkwater. Queen's Own Rifles of Canada has served this country for 153 years. And our motto was, "In peace prepared." Representing Patricia Canadian Light Infantry is retired Major Murray Edwards. He's a young gentleman of 93. Second World War veteran, Korean War veteran. Representing Princess Patricia Canadian Light Infantry Cadet Corps, young Mr. Powell, a former student at Stellies. To make an announcement too. If there's anyone here that would like to lay a wreath for the Air Force, we have one over there. Thank you. Well, it looks like we've got 2 volunteers, so the 2 of you can lay it. Thank you very much. Thank you for volunteering. it's wrong. It's got to be out of the center's got to be left open. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You can move because I want that center open. The wreath laying ceremony will only come to conclusion when everyone else that wanted to can lay a wreath, and I give you this opportunity now. If you have a private reason or a private wreath to lay, feel free. And while that is going on, we also will lay a wreath for Canadian Peacekeeping Veterans Association. That's coming up as well. Mr. Bob Collins will lay that one. I would also like at this time to have a wreath laid for the Airborne Regiments of Canada. This will be laid by Mr. Billy Willibon. Are there any more wreaths that need to be or want to be laid by the general public? Yes? Oh, one more, go ahead.
I just want to thank all Canadian soldiers because they freed Holland from a certain death. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. There will be, oh, we have another young, she's going to lay the wreath for us. That's good. Or he is. Thank you. North Saanich School. Thank you very much. I got it, North Saanich. I got it. I would like to turn it over now to Mrs. Norma Seeley to start the speech session and to read off the names of the latest fallen from Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I stand here today as I have stood for many, many years in rain, snow, sleet, you name it, to commemorate Remembrance Day, because I feel it is so important that we continue to remember. I do so in memory of my grandfather who fought in World War I. I just read a couple of days ago that the last British veteran died this year, which means there is no one left from World War I. But it is important that we remember what they did and what they went through. It was my grandfather that instilled in me an interest in the history of war with all its horrors and causes, and that has remained with me. We remember those who died in the various wars, World War I, World War II, Korea, many other conflicts, and now we have peacekeepers who have still been dying, trying to make the world a better place for their fellow man, to help other people in other countries have some of the basic freedoms that we just take for granted every day. We are so fortunate that they have done that. As it has in past several years now, it falls to me to read you the list of the most recent dead, the names of the last 20 Canadians who died in operations related to our Afghanistan involvement. And you young people in the crowd, I'd like you to pay attention to the ages of these people who have died to make the world a better place. Kirk Taylor, age 28. John Wayne Frott, age 44. Joshua Caleb Baker, age 24. Darren James Fitzpatrick, age 21. Tyler William Todd, age 26. Craig Blake, age 37. Kevin Thomas McKay, age 24. Jeff Parker, age 42. Larry Rudd, age 26. Martin Goudreau, age 35. James McNeil, age 28. Crystal Giesbrecht, age 34. Andrew Miller, age 21. Brian Collier, age 24. Brian Pinkson, age 21. Steve Martin, age 24. Yannick Scherer, age 24. Carl Manning, age 31. Francis Roy, age 32. And Byron Greff, age 28. Cut down in the prime of their lives. It is said that no greater love has man than that he lay down his life for his friends. May we never forget. And we also remember those who keep us safe and protect us in our everyday lives, the men in uniform who look after us in our homes and communities. To them also, we should remember and be thankful. Thank you.
Thank you, Norma.
I'd like to call on Shailene Littlejohn to come up and read the poem, Our Fallen. This poem is etched in granite and in a peace park in Hamilton, Ontario. Major Edwards and I just got back from the Kavanagh AGM down there and got a chance to view the park, and it's quite an honor to have that poem in the park. Shailene Littlejohn.
Our Fallen by William Wilbond. The UN and NATO formed a peace support plan to assist oppressed peoples in Afghanistan. You volunteered, leaving your family and spouse, causing a vacant emptiness in your former house. Family, friends, and comrades, they miss you the most, as those assembled here listen to the last post. You fell in Egypt, the Congo, and Cyprus took its attrition, as did each and every Canadian peacekeeping mission. The families of the fallen, they are standing right here. Your memory sits in their hearts every day of the year. You served in Yugoslavia, the Congo, and in the Sudan. You saw death in Rwanda, man's inhumanity to man. You saw Central America and helped to set people free. You died with the UN in Korea before and after 1953. Namibia and Haiti, Somalia, Angola, and more, Canada tried to bring peace to each foreign war. Many of Canada's fallen are buried in an overseas grave. You volunteered to keep peace, and many lives you did save. You rebuilt the schools, fixed bridges, and dug each deep well. You gave up your lives. In the service of peace you excelled. You delivered the convoys of humanitarian food aid. On some dangerous missions, the ultimate sacrifice was paid. That rough road up to heaven for you, soldier, it's now paved. On the wall of honor, your name is lovingly engraved. Rest in peace, soldier.
Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Thank you very much. Now it's my turn. I would like to talk about a little different subject, but most important to veterans, to service people, and people that have had to fight in wars. But I will start off first by taking this opportunity to thank first the mayor for allowing us to conduct this service and laying of the wreaths for the many years. I would like to thank the public and the veterans here for attending, and I assure you in the future we will have a different and a better cenotaph. We've been working on it. I would like to thank the police for keeping the laws, rules, and enforcing the regulations that soldiers gave their lives for in the service of peace and freedom for our country. I would also like to thank the fire department, who preserve a lot of our lives and prevent further disasters when accidents happen. I would like to thank our merchants in this area that support this function, this event, but also on the off days and every day of the year, they protect our food from diseases and the way that it's handled. And in the event that we do get ill, I would like to thank the hospital in this area that looks after veterans and the general public when we do get ill from things that happen. Now, my main topic today, which is going to deviate slightly from the norm, is we attend cenotaphs and memorials on this day. If you're not aware, I will try and give you a little bit of information on this. First of all, there's over 5,000 to 6,000 monuments and cenotaphs in Canada. There is now 2 more. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. One was opened up yesterday. It's in Trenton, Ontario, and it's to deal with the repatriation of the deceased from Afghanistan. It's a lovely park and a lovely monument. It was on the news. I have brochures and stuff on it for further information if you need it after. It's very close to the Highway of Heroes. The money raised for that, because there's always a concern about money for these things, was raised publicly to the tune of $1.2 million. There was another monument that finally, after 200 years of this country's history, was unveiled on the 3rd of this month. And it is for animals. Animals in war. Animals that help service people. Animals that were killed in wars. And I'd like to mention a few factors on that. The money raised for that, again, was done by an individual by the name of Lloyd Swick. He attended a memorial service 3 years ago. He realized that other countries have these monuments for animals, and he said, why don't we? He approached the proper authorities, and there's always a worry about money. He went out on his own, and within a couple of years, raised over $100,000 and got it started. Eventually, Veterans Affairs clicked in with a few dollars, and other people as well. It's a lovely monument. The honorary patron for that monument is Stephen Harper's wife. The facts that it covers when you consider animals in a war. In the beginning of our history, from the War of 1812, and the First World War was the highest, we have lost 8 million horses. We have lost 200,000 pigeons that were used for carrying messages. We have used dogs, and use them still today in Afghanistan, for searching out mines. We have used mules, and my fellow veterans here who have served in places like Cyprus can confirm with me that we used donkeys and mules to resupply us on the outposts in the mountains because helicopters couldn't bring in our supplies. We treat our animals a lot better than the way we've seen those animals being treated by their own local people. To steer a donkey in Cyprus, you tap him on either side of his head with a club. We never did that. We trained animals how to follow you or how you could lead them. We went a little overboard on one, and this one had a taste for beer. He was an excellent load carrier, but the day after he would be a little slower, and the other 2 mules had to carry the load. Also, in wars, we have used birds, all kinds of birds, to test out for poisonous gas. We've even used dolphins in the Gulf War with mines and to detect mines. We've used everything from elephants to sea lions. And even in the First World War, they used glowworms so they could read the maps. So I feel very strongly about this monument. We are the first that I know of cenotaph to help celebrate that particular wreath laying. And I hope the other cenotaphs across Canada will continue to do this as well, and to lay a wreath for the animals that had no choice and had to sacrifice their lives to assist service people in wars, and they did prevent a lot more casualties, prevent from having a lot more casualties. There was a quote by a veterinarian from the First World War who said he had no problem touching and patching up horses that have been wounded with shrapnel and stuff like that. He could handle the minor repairs. Freedom is not free. Servicemen die, animals die, people suffer, even the survivors. They suffer from Not all wounds are physical. Post-traumatic stress is a good example. It's terrible. So in conclusion, please be careful, please be observant. Societies can fall apart very quickly from indifference, defiance, complacency, disease, fraud, drugs, bullying, vandalism. All these things can be bad signs for a community and can create animosities and wars. Thank you. Please join me in God Save the Queen.